Hi, I'm Mrs. Ludwig, and today I will be demonstrating how to make an origami octagon box. But first we will make the octagon base in this video, and then other videos will give you the additional directions. And actually in this video I'm just demonstrating one of these four parts that make up this box, and then you can just watch this video a total of 4 times to get all 4 pieces, and a separate video will be done on the assembly into the box. So to begin, you need your step-by-step directions that I'll be referring to the numerical steps of, your 4 sheets of precisely cut square paper, and a pen will be helpful along the way for one of the steps. So to fold one of these, we just set our other 3 sheets aside and take the first sheet of paper and step 1 of our directions. You want to start by folding the top half, overlapping the bottom half completely, and then press out the slack while maintaining the alignment of those lower vertices, and make a sharp crease. Your sharp creases will help the box be very nicely formed in the end. Go ahead and reopen that fold. Then we take the bottom corner and we're going to bring that side completely aligned to the center crease that we already formed, holding that and then pressing out the slack. Just like when you fold a paper airplane, you want to line up with previous creases, not fall short, not overlap, and that will help your final product look very nice. Go ahead and reopen that as well. So you now have 2 creases that correspond with step 1 in your directions. Step 2, take the top half and fold it so that you are exactly lining with the previous center crease. While holding that, press outward to take out the slack, and then go ahead and make a sharp crease with your fingernails. Leave that one folded. Then take the bottom right corner, and we're going to align this part to the previous crease right there. Again, exactly aligning to the previous crease, pressing outward the extra slack, so that you have a nice point right here. And then your sharp crease with your fingernails, and leave that folded as well. Step 3, take the left side and we're going to bring this side over to this point right here of the previous triangle that we created. And so that will look like this, where they're right next to each other, and then hold that while pressing outward the slack. I didn't do a very good job of holding that one on this side while pressing out the slack, so I adjusted a little bit, but it's important to try and hold that and then press your slack outward so that it lines up nicely the first time. And we are going to keep that creased. So now step 3 ends up looking like this. Step 4, they want you to go ahead and open that triangular piece and open the rectangular piece on the left. Step 5, we are then taking the right side and folding that into this previous crease. So let me do a better job this time of holding that and then pressing the slack outwards so that that stays put. And then make your sharp crease. And that stays folded. Step 6, you are going to take this side and bring it to this previous crease. So upward and aligning, and again holding that and pressing the slack outward and your sharp crease. And leave that folded. Step 7 is a tricky step where if you take your pen or pencil, prop this triangular piece up, it's kind of like a shark fin, and then you want to put your pen inside that gap, kind of poke it open, and that helps shape it. And you're going to press that peak down flat so you have a gap here, and you're using the pen to shape that. And then this crease that looks like it's the peak of a mountain will exactly overline with your previous crease as you set it down. And then I hold that while pressing the slack outward, and I have a nice point right here, and it's a symmetrical triangle. And that's the conclusion of step 7. Step 8, I'm now taking this crease and the top portion of that triangle and just folding it in half. So again, I'm just setting it down on previous creases. I'm not making any new creases. Step 9, I need to open this flap completely and open this flap completely. So everything's just opened up, and that's step 9. Step 10 is a little tricky. You want to ultimately have a crease that is cutting through this diagonally and forming two congruent triangles. And so people want to just fold that in half, but it's not a square. So we need to kind of get that portion pinched together, and then also the vertex of this rectangle pinched together and crease it. So you're actually not folding into previous creases of the rectangle like you normally do in origami. You have this triangular piece hanging downward, and then when you open it up and check, it is diagonally slicing through that rectangle. But go ahead and leave that folded now that we've checked it. And that's step 10. Step 11, we are taking the top half and we're bending it down on the previous crease to meet the center crease. Step 12, we take the left side and this previous crease, and we're folding over to the crease on this side, not making any new creases, just making them nice and sharp, ones that already exist. Now there is going to be a little gap between the right side of this and your previous crease. Again, that's untypical for origami, but it is something that you do actually want on this design when you have it correct. Step 13, we are now taking this bottom corner and we're folding it up to this previous crease that they call line A. Hold that and then press out your slack and make your sharp crease and leave that folded. Step 14, we are now opening that lower triangle. And step 15, we're going to fold this corner and side into line A, which they call this previous crease. And then press out your slack and make your sharp crease with your fingernails. Go ahead and reopen that. Step 16 is a little confusing in the directions, so you might not want to even look at those. But basically, this is going to be called line A, and this in the directions they do label as line B. And we're wanting to just pull up and pinch those two lines together with the slack coming upward. I will redo that before I finish that step. So again, this crease is line A, this they're calling line B, and we're just pinching in between them and pulling the slack upward and setting line A on top of line B. And then go ahead and keep them aligned and pinch that slack upward so that you have a nice crease, and then set that down and your design will look like this. Okay, so again, that step is kind of tricky, so you might want to review that a couple times before you proceed. Step 17, we're taking this right piece and the vertex here, and we're going to crease it along this previous crease coming down. So align it with that crease, and then make a nice sharp crease. Step 18, we're going to take this portion right here and it forms a vertex right there, so we're going to crease it down on that, and it will look like a trapezoid and appear this way. Step 19, we now pull open that tab, and here's where we can start to see the piece taking shape. So if you go ahead and focus on this bottom right corner, we're going to fold this portion along this crease that they call line B. And one more time, that's the bottom right vertex coming up along this previous crease that they call line B, and then you have a triangular portion folded that you leave folded. Step 21, we're going to take the crease right here that's wanting to poke upward. It's called a mountain fold, and then the portion right here that's creased downward, that's called a valley fold because it dips down in like a valley, and we're just setting those on top of each other to formulate one piece of the box. One more time, we're taking this portion that wants to crease upward, a mountain fold, this portion that wants to crease downward called a valley fold with the dashed line, and we're just setting those two on top of each other, and that now forms the first of your 4 pieces. So we have now completed the first of the 4 pieces that we need to assemble our octagon base. And you will just repeat this video 3 more times unless you happen to remember all the steps, unlike me, and then we will do a separate video to assemble the box. Good luck.